Interventionism refers to a foreign policy orientation in which the United States engages actively and deliberately in global affairs rather than remaining politically, militarily, or economically detached from international conflicts. It is grounded in the belief that American security, prosperity, and values are inseparable from developments beyond U.S. borders. Chapter 20 situates interventionism as a recurring, though contested, tradition in American foreign policy, one that has expanded significantly since the 20th century and continues to shape debates over war, diplomacy, alliances, and global leadership. Active engagement in global affairs. At its core, interventionism rejects the idea that the United States can remain secure by focusing solely on domestic affairs. Instead, it holds that global instability, regional conflicts, and hostile regimes inevitably affect U.S. interests. Interventionist engagement can take multiple forms: military intervention, direct or indirect, security alliances and defense commitments, economic involvement, and sanctions, diplomatic pressure and international institution building, humanitarian and peacekeeping operations. Not all intervention is military, but military capability often underpins the credibility of interventionist policy. Rationale for interventionism. Interventionism is justified through several overlapping rationales that frame global engagement as both necessary and prudent. 1. Shaping the international environment. A central interventionist claim is that international politics does not remain neutral if left unattended. Power vacuums, failed states, and regional instability invite hostile actors to expand influence. From this perspective, U.S. engagement serves to maintain a favorable balance of power, support allies, and deter adversaries, promote stable political and economic systems. Shape global norms and institutions. Interventionists argue that disengagement allows rivals to define the rules of the international system, often in ways hostile to liberal democratic values or U.S. interests. 2. Preventing threats before they reach U.S. borders. Another key rationale is prevention. Rather than responding to threats once they materialize on U.S. soil, interventionism emphasizes early action abroad. This logic gained particular prominence in the post-Cold War and post-9/11 eras, where threats were increasingly understood as transnational terrorism, cyber warfare, weapons proliferation, regional conflicts with global spillover effects. Under this view, geographic distance no longer provides meaningful protection. Instability abroad can translate rapidly into domestic vulnerability. 3. National security and global stability. Interventionism often frames U.S. power as a stabilizing force in the international system. Military presence, alliance networks, and security guarantees are justified as mechanisms for deterrence, crisis management, prevention of large-scale wars. Interventionists argue that periods of relative global stability, particularly after World War II, coincided with strong U.S. engagement rather than withdrawal. In this narrative, American leadership is seen as a public good, even when costly. The tension between isolationism and interventionism. Despite its prominence, interventionism has never gone uncontested. American foreign policy has long oscillated between interventionist and isolationist impulses, reflecting deeper tensions within U.S. political culture. Isolationist concerns. Isolationist arguments emphasize the high human and economic costs of foreign entanglements, the risk of endless wars, the erosion of civil liberties during wartime, the danger of imperial overreach. Isolationists argue that intervention often produces unintended consequences, destabilizes regions further, and distracts from domestic priorities. Persistent tension, not a binary choice. Importantly, U.S. foreign policy rarely fits neatly into either category. Even at moments of strong interventionism, there are calls for restraint. Even during periods of relative isolation, the United States has maintained significant global influence through trade, diplomacy, and alliances. This tension reflects an unresolved question at the heart of American strategy. Should security be pursued through distance and restraint or through presence and engagement? Conclusion: interventionism as a defining debate. Interventionism remains one of the most consequential and controversial orientations in U.S. foreign policy. Its advocates argue that global leadership is unavoidable and necessary in an interconnected world. Its critics warn that constant engagement risks moral compromise, strategic exhaustion, and democratic erosion. Chapter 20 highlights that interventionism is not merely a set of policies, but a philosophical stance on America's role in the world, one defined by the enduring struggle to balance security, power, restraint, and responsibility in an uncertain international system.